I've been asked to do some painting videos by special request. So I thought it'd be nice for me to paint today, something that's quite simple to start off with and something that's going to be everybody will be able to do this. So what I'm doing is a lemon. So this is quite a nice lemon. It's, you know, it's got sort of interesting textures and stuff. So I'm going to display this. And then I'm going to do a very simple how to paint. I've got my basic colours out, which are red, yellow and blue, the three primaries, and a Payne's grey. One brush, a pencil, HB, and my watercolour paper, which I've pinned down, a mixing palette, which is a white plate, and my water container. Noting down the shadows as well. Got the basic sketch down. I've got a lovely lemon colour here. I'm going to start putting the lemon. Notice that this is the technique which is called wet onto dry. That's wet paint. It's wet paint onto dry paper. So I'm just putting the lemon shape down. I'm going to leave a few little highlights in it so it makes it a little bit more interesting. And now I'm going to use a technique which is now dropping in into wet paint. So I'm turning that a bit green. I'm now going to drop that in, so giving it a little bit of a greeny effect. This is called wet into wet, giving it a little bit of a shadow. Keep washing your brush out. Now my shadow is quite pronounced. Now the opposite colour to lemon is purple, so I'm going to mix a bit of the purple, which is quite nice, and I'm going to put that into, again, wet into dry. Doesn't matter if it bleeds at all a bit, because that always adds the effect. That's placing the lemon in visual space on my paper, so it's giving it a fake shadow, watering or running into each other there. It's quite a nice effect. Time now to dry your work. So either always with watercolour or always dries lighter. So now I need to intensify my colours and add detail. Going back to my lovely lemon. It's a beautiful lemon yellow I've got here. I'm making another copious wash. Now I'm going to intensify that. Now, not going over the white spaces, leave those because they're highlights. So I'm just carefully working into the colour again, bringing back some of that lovely lemon colour. Now we've got to notice a little bit of green here, so I'm going back to my green there, adding a bit of blue, a little bit of yellow. I'm intensifying, making a green. I'm just going to drop that into this area here. Also in some of the shadowy areas here where I'd like it to be a little bit more reflective of the shadow colours, I'm just dropping a little bit more green in there. Gradually giving it a sort of shading effect. Notice I just wiped out the brush there with my finger. So taking this residue, and I'm now sucking into it a little bit with the brush. So this is called wiping out, using the brush to wipe away and blend in, making a subtler sort of shading. Now while it's, I'm going to wet the bottom area here a bit, the shadow area a bit more. It's got a slight lemon tint to it, that's fine. And I'm just going to intensify that colour a bit. There's wonderful things happening in here. I'm using a bit of red, making a wash with the red. I'm just going to drop that into my purple. I'm going to pull it out a bit, so that naturally is intensifying some of the colours quite nicely. This is very much my style. If it runs, that's fine. That's all the better. Now, then again, this is the second stage. You can see that I've dried it again and it's dried lighter. Now, this is where I'm going to now refine my shapes a little bit. I'm going to mix all those three colours together. That's the red and the lemon to make a nice sort of mulchy yellow. I'm going to add that to my green area. So this is the third time. Wet paint onto dry paper, intensifying those shadow areas. I've gone over my spot there, which is okay because I want to do that. Now this is the shadowy part to just soften those edges. Just soften it a bit. Notice I then took the paint out of my brush again, and now I'm just going to wipe a little bit out so that there isn't a hard edge. Now this is quite a limited amount of techniques for me because I usually use multitude techniques in mine. I'm just going to go back Payne's Grey now, a little wash of Payne's Grey, adding that to that colour so that it's not pure Payne's Grey, because otherwise you can add a colour which is very strong and you don't want to do that. So I'm just tinting the wash that I've already made up with Payne's Grey. And now I'm just going to intensify some of the detail areas. Just a little bit of intensifying there. Just a contour line that I can see in the lemon. And then there's a little tiny line which I'm going to pick out with the purple and Payne's Grey. Just on the top, which is a bit of an iridation. So it just makes you feel that the light is going across just the outside shape. I'll just give it an extra bit of detail. Bring it all the way around, just dodging it to the edge there. So a little bit of iridation. Again, soften that slightly. Soften it with just clean water and your brush. And then lastly, I'm going to intensify my purple. I'm going to mix all the colours together. Lemon wash there. I'm just going to wash over this again. Giving it a little bit of a extra coat, and then taking that was just plain water on my brush there, so it sort of disappears. That dry. More of these videos and you'd like to be tutored through your watercolour experience, then please comment down below. Subscribe, give me a thumbs up and share. I really love fruity videos. Okay, have a vegan tea. Bye for now.